In this video, you'll meet Ayanfe, a very curious 18-year-old creator who traveled over 400 kilometers from the city of Toronto to Ottawa to unravel my story. And apparently, she also gets paid to have fun.
Hi, I'm Ayanfe and I'm a lifestyle content creator.
Ayanfe sort of reminds me of me. She's super bubbly and vibrant, and most of all, she's on a quest to growing in her faith. She asked me loads of interesting questions on her channel. You should totally check it out. But in this video, we're going to be talking about modesty.
Is this modest?
Is this modest?
How about this? Is this modest?
I'm not sure. Is this modest? I want to ask you a general question before we get into the juice. What is modesty to you, Ayanfe?
What is modesty to me? I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I feel like it has more to do with my state of mind than my external. So I feel like the general idea of modesty is, okay, you have to dress a certain way, you have to look a certain way, and that's important, but I feel like that shouldn't be the only thing. That your appearance, your external appearance should be an expression of what is going on within you. So
good.
I think it's just like a condition of mind, and it's a journey that we're all on. So that's what it is to me.
Modesty to me as well, very similar to you, is a state of mind, yes, but it's also the attitude that you show as a result of something else, right? And that other thing is your relationship with God. That thing is who is God over your life, right? Yeah. So modesty is not just how you dress. Modesty goes even to your character, the way that you speak, the way that you express yourself, the way that you talk about other people. You have to be modest in every aspect of your life. Yeah. Right? People are so quick to talk about how short is too short, how low is too low,
how much skin
is too much skin. Yeah. But I think that's not what we're asking about. If that's still your conversation, okay, welcome to Christianity. But that's not where we're going with this. I'm not here to tell you what to wear and what not to wear, but I'm here to tell you that if you are sold out for Christ, this is not a conversation that you should die on. This is not something that someone has to convince you. It is something that will be birthed or born out of relationship. Why is no one asking, what do I have to do to please God? What do I have to do to bring glory to the name of God? How covered is too covered? No one is asking that.
I mean, I feel like the reason why a lot of Christians are stuck on that is we like to focus so much on the external. Because somebody can be wearing the longest dress and be covered up and their mind is somewhere else completely.
Yeah, I was literally going there. That's such an important point.
Everybody is just so focused on the external because nobody can see the internal. So they're like, okay, if the external doesn't look good, then the internal doesn't look good as well. Right. But we need to change our focus from preaching about the external and more about the internal, because at the end of the day, your relationship with God is within you. So let's focus more on that and less on performing. That's what I like to call it.
From performative Christianity.
Yes, that's what I like to call it. Right. Yeah.
We are done with that era. We are moving into a new dispensation of genuine transformation, genuine righteousness, genuine holiness. You are holy because He's holy. Jesus was referring to two people that were praying, right? One person deemed himself holy. He's praying in the corner of the streets very loudly saying, God, you can see that I'm not like this. God, you can see that I'm not like that. You can see that I'm good. You can see that I've given my tithe. You can see that I've given my offering. You can see I'm dressed head to toe and my head is covered. You can see all that. Yeah. And another person that is praying and saying, God, but this person is barely able to look at God, like look up in the sky, because he just feels like, God, I need your mercy. I know that I'm a sinner. I know the place that I'm at right now, but I need your mercy. I think this speaks directly to the concept of modesty, the whole concept of purity culture. It speaks directly to everything, that God is more concerned about your state of mind. God is more concerned about what your heart posture. He's more concerned about how your heart is. With modesty in Christianity is intent enough. So the intention behind why I'm wearing this is not to be proud, is not to show off my riches, it's not to show off my body, it's not to be lustful, it's just because I like it. So is intent enough when it comes to modesty?
I think intent, I won't say it's enough, but it's a big part. At the same time, you also need to pray for wisdom to be able to discern between what is modest and what isn't.
What is not.
Because in this, I feel like in this day and age, the line, no, not even in this day and age, it has always been like this. Maybe it's just becoming more obvious. But the line between modesty and what isn't modesty is becoming more and more thin.
Right.
So you need to really have that divine wisdom to be able to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do and this isn't what I'm going to do. So I feel like, yes, intent is a big part, but you also need to be praying for grace and divine wisdom.
That's so good. Intent matters, obviously,
definitely.
because God cares about the intention of why you're doing certain things.
Yeah.
But there's some things that are also like borderline. Like there's some things that are, everyone can tell that this, whether or not your intentions are right, this is clearly not right.
Yeah.
Wearing certain outfits in itself is not sinful. Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. It's not sinful in itself, but what is it saying about you to other people? What is it saying about you to the world? I feel like we are so caught up in trying to make ourselves accepted by the world when we should actually be the one that is influencing the world. We're letting the world influence us.
When it should be the other way
When
around.
it should be the other way around. And if there's something that God is clear about, it's that he hates the way of the world. He hates anything that is presumably worldly. But we as children of God, we don't hate it. In fact, we accept it. We want it.
It's different for different people. Some people just enjoy the validation. For some people, they just don't fully understand the concept. And it's at the end of the day, that's why we say it's a personal journey, right? I feel like personally for me, it's more about validation. Like with my journey with modesty, it's more about, oh, I want to get all the eyes to look at me when I step in. I want all of them to be like, did you see that fit? Did you see what she's wearing? Like that was the mindset I had in mind. So even though I'd given my life to Christ, I still like that attention, and I was attaching my validation and self-worth to that, and I'm always looking forward to that. All the comments on Instagram, oh, you look so good, oh my god, ate and left no crumbs, purr.
Big purr!
I was always looking forward to that, and it was just becoming so crazy, and I just kind of had to make that intentional decision to be like, you know what, my worth isn't determined by these comments. It's not determined by these likes.
That is so good.
You don't have to like post my business with what you think about me. That's between you and you, quite frankly. And when I just made that decision in my head, I feel like I was able to be more conscious of the kind of things I'm wearing, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. It does. I'm gonna take us back to the beginning, right?
Okay.
To Adam and Eve, and when they sinned, and when at the point that they sinned, they had lost an amount of glory, right? They had lost a lot. Okay, this is why we're here today. They had lost a lot, but God saw it right to clothe them. So when Adam and Eve had sinned and God came and everything, they had made for themselves clothes out of like figs, leaves. You know all these children books, they show us the leaves and everything. But God performed the first sacrifice at that point, where he slayed an animal to make clothes for them out of the animal's skin. If God didn't care about how we looked or what our covering looked like, he wouldn't have done that. He wouldn't have performed that sacrifice, where even though that sacrifice is also speaking towards the messianic prophecy of Christ coming, but it also speaks to God caring about our outward look and how we look. He could have left them in the figs, but he didn't feel like they were covered up enough. He didn't feel like they were representing him enough, which is why he had to show them how to properly represent him and what they would look like if they are properly representing him. If that makes sense.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah. So God does care about our outward appearance.
Yeah.
Even though he cares about our hearts more. He cares about our hearts more, but he also cares about our outward appearance. Do you think God is pleased when we can't even tell if you're a believer or an unbeliever? If people go to your social pages, what do they see? How do you talk? What kind of captions are you using in your photos? Are your captions always exactly in things that you're posting, in the things that you say, in the things that you speak? The beauty is that we know what is right, but we don't just want it to be right for us.
God actually does care about our outward appearance. And I was going to say that, yeah, because we are expressions of His glory on earth, and at the end of the day, we are here to lead other people to Christ. So how can we lead other people to Christ if they don't see Christ in us?
Right.
And they can't see within us. So it's through that.
They can't see what is inside you.
Exactly. So at a certain point, you just have to let that glory within you just pour to the external.
Right.
And that's why I feel like God also cares about our external, because we are His expression on earth.
Right. If you're looking tacky, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not using deodorant, if you're not doing all that good stuff, that is not God's way. Because our bodies are God's temple. Our bodies are the temple of God, right?
Yeah.
And do you see how the minute detailing God adorns, the way God adorns His temple in the Old Testament? And never think that your beauty is just about your outward adornment. Your beauty is actually the state of your heart. If you are somebody that is always envious, if you are somebody that is greedy, if you are somebody that likes to covet other people's stuff, best believe that you are just as bad as someone that's half naked walking on the streets. Just as bad.
It's not about acting, it's not about faking.
Right.
That's very important, because if you try and fake it, it's not going to last long.
Exactly.
You cannot sustain it. Because even people that it comes from within, you still need special grace to be able to sustain it. So what happens to people that are faking it?
Exactly. Do you think sometimes I don't want to wear something that's a little bit open, maybe a little bit of my back, a little bit of this and that, but I just have to go back to the reason why.
Yeah.
And this is why your reason why has to be unlocked. It is only God that can help us to sustain that place that He wants us to be. And I'm not saying that this is going to be a one-day journey. This is a journey, a race that you're running from now to the end of time. I just want to say again that modesty is not just about clothing. It's about your speech, the way that you talk to other people, the way that you talk about other people. If you gossip, you're not modest. Okay? If you gossip, you're not modest. If you hate people in your heart, you're not modest. If you don't have love, you're not modest. Modesty is not just about clothing. Modesty is not performative. Modesty must be birthed from a genuine and transformative relationship with God. Take it a day at a time. Ayanfe, do you have anything you want to say?
I do not have anything to say, but thank you so much for having me on your channel, and I hope you've learned something. I mean, I don't think you can watch this whole video and not learn anything.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Ayanfe, for joining us. Make sure to check out her channel, subscribe as well. Don't forget to like, share, comment. If this video blessed you in any way, share it. We have to keep spreading the gospel to the word of God, which is the end of the earth. All right, bye. In case you didn't know, I'm Oyin Brandy, and thank you for watching my channel.